Welcome everybody to another episode of the All Systems Go podcast. I'm your host, Chris L. Davis, and you all know the routine. I do my best. I do my best to go and find the best, to talk about the best stuff that's applicable to you. And in this episode, we're going to remind you of the power and of processing payments online, for one, and two, give you a really good example of why you just can never really trust your gut fully all the time, because there are times where we think or feel things should be one way or not, and the data tells us otherwise. So I have today the co-founder of SamCart. Okay. And Scott's going to come on and first introduce SamCart. I don't want to assume any of you know what it is and you're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. I want to first introduce it because this may be the software you've been looking for. Okay. And then because Scott and Brian have been in the game for so long, they've got tons of data. Not only that, they respect data, and they've recently ran a report that is going to shock. This is not hyperbole. This is going to shock you, some of the data that you're going to see that we're going to talk about, because when I read it, it was just kind of like, no way. So we're going to let Scott detail all of it, and we're going to have an intelligent conversation around it. So let me introduce Scott. He is the co-founder of SamCart, the #1 checkout solution for digital creators, home to more than 17,000 creators who have sold over 3.5 billion. That's a B, just in case I didn't put enough inflection on it. Billion of their own courses, services, and more. Prior to SamCart, Scott spent years running his own digital product brands, two-time girl dad, Baltimore Orioles super fan. Whatever you're doing online, Scott is here to help you make and keep more money. Scott, and let me say this too, a good friend, everybody, good friend of mine. So Scott,
Chris, excited to be here, man.
Oh my goodness.
This is going to be such a, I was telling you right before we went on, I love talking about data and this kind of stuff. And when I was writing this whole report that we're going to just chat through and all that kind of stuff, I'm writing it with you in mind. Like, I'm writing it with like, oh man, like my marketing automation people are going to get this. So listen, if that's you guys are following, you're in Chris's world. Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna have a good time too. But Chris, first time we hung out, 2015, 2014, maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
It would have been we were just saying, it's been a minute. Our kids are older, right? We've moved on. We've both moved to different places.
Yeah.
But no, it's super excited, man. Great. Thanks for having me on, dude. It's going to be really fun to just chat through this stuff. And honestly, I think you're right. Like, I'm reading this, I kind of know what to expect out of some of this data. And like, even for me, who's been in this game for a long time, it's like, dude, some of the stuff is nuts. I'm so excited to share. It's gonna be a really fun time.
Listen, everybody, buckle up. This is one you're gonna enjoy. You're gonna rewind, and I'm gonna tell you this in advance. The report that Scott is gonna be talking about, we're gonna make it available for you all. Okay, so you'll be able to lay your own eyes on it and make your decisions and judgments for yourself. So let's start from the top. Scott, SamCart, the #1 checkout solution for digital creators. We're not just saying that because you can just claim it, but let's give our audience a bit of insight of the origins of SamCart, who you are, and how you've been serving the entrepreneurs and small businesses.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, the short version, I'll keep it short as I can, is myself and my brother, Brian, right? Who obviously Chris knows. My older brother is, you guys ever see him on the internet? He's shorter and kind of looks like me, but we both had digital product brands. Like, that's what we did prior to launching SamCart. We had, our first thing was a baseball training website, because Brian was a freaking college All-American baseball player. We got really good at Facebook ads like back in 2009. And so we launched this Facebook marketing brand called Get 10,000 Fans. That was just all about sharing how to, grow an email list and do all this kind of stuff. We published other people in the photography space and just whatever, all kinds of different stuff. Halo 3 was a video game thing we did. That was always my most fun, doing the research to get really good at that stuff was a lot of fun. That's what I'll say. So anyway, it's been a second, but you back up to something like 2013, 2014, ahead of us creating SamCart, the tools that we were using to run these businesses that were in the low seven figures in revenue, and we're all of us trying to, we're all trying to do the same kind of stuff that you have made a living on. You know, I mean, you have dedicated the last 10 years of your career, Chris, to becoming a pro at marketing automation, putting the right message and the right offer in front of the right person at the right time. You know what I mean? And that was what really led us to do SamCart. Is we kept bastardizing these other tools to try to fit them to do things like maximize average order value, maximize cart conversion, maximize, back end sales and lifetime value, and all these things that are so critical to what we do. But we just had to we had to duct tape and custom code, and everything was just this. It was awful, man. It was terrible. And you've been around. You remember those days, right?
Yeah.
Those were tough days. They were not great days. So we made SamCart. SamCart is, it is the way to sell your digital products online. Our whole goal is, our mantra is super simple. We want to give you guys the tools that help you convert more customers, spending more often. You know what I mean? That is our, three levers to grow a business. I want to increase cart conversion. I want to get more people in the door, right? I want to boost average order value, what they're spending every single time. I want to bring them back again, lifetime value. And if you can nail those things, man, you've got something. You know what I mean? And a lot of that, what I really love about the report we're going to talk about is all of that stuff is so incredibly crystal clear when we look at, I'm going to use the term creator CEOs a lot, right? Creator CEOs is what we refer to as the brands on SamCart that are going to make seven figures or more this year, right? And so we've got something like 550 of those people, maybe 40, 50 of those people are eight figures in a year. And we've got two or three that are going to do nine figures in sales in this year, in 2023.
Wow.
Got some firepower, you know what I mean? So yeah, listen, no one sells more than we do, per pound for pound, like that type of stuff. You got bigger platforms, you got people with more customers or whatever, but our customers make 3 to 5 times more than anybody else. And it's because they got the right tools. And that's what we set out to do. That's why we built it ourselves, for our scratching our own itch. And that's really what we do all day, every day for, 17,000 people selling their stuff on SamCart.
And I wanna add some context for you all. SamCart in its inception was revolutionary. And the reason being is because if you were savvy to marketing automation, you were using Infusionsoft, now called Keep, and their checkout pages, oh my goodness, were the...
What's funny is how much not better they've gotten since then. We're talking about 8 years. They're still doing the same thing, Chris. I have no idea, but I'll tell you what you're about to describe, you had to go make a form, you had to design it, you had to host a page on it, then you had to, it's all this other stuff about, if you wanted to do order bumps or wanted to do subscription, it was just so much work. Man, that kept us in business. I mean, not kept us, that really launched us. That was our initial kind of trampoline, whatever. And yeah, I mean, that was innovative. We were we were cutting edge, you know what I mean?
Cutting edge. And you all were leading with conversion. We were just trying to get a sale. We were just trying to collect a sale. And then SamCart said,
I got this army of people with credit cards in their hand. What do I do? And it's we just were I don't know, man, here's some credit card fields. And that was whoa. Yeah. What are you guys doing over there?
Yes. And another differentiator back then, and these are all my legacy marketers know this, authorized.net was the the premier payment gateway, payment gateway is just
100%.
Authorized.net and insert whatever other company. And now maybe they're still in business. I haven't seen their logo because Stripe has taken over.
You know something crazy? We still process about 1 out of every 10 sales on SamCart is through authorized.net. Yeah, which is nuts. And they're all of them. I'll tell you what, though, they are all of them companies that were around when we started. You know what I mean? They're all just never left, and that's it. But man, I'll tell you, that is, from a technical perspective, all I can tell you is that authorized.net after all these years is identical. They have changed nothing. They're still exactly the same thing. And it's, listen, you partner up something like that with SamCart. That's kind of the magic, though, is I get this kind of system that I know trusts in my payments and all this kind of stuff, but we at least give you a little bit more of the new technology that they apparently have no interest in building for any of their customers.
Yeah. And here's what I like. And I was pleasantly reminded, just kind of going back over to the website and looking at everything. You see these companies like authorized.net and there's endless amounts that find their sweet spot, for the lack of a better term, right? And they keep that product alive. They don't have to do much, just stay relevant. And there's something to be said about those who could stay relevant. But I want to ask you this. You all have not just stayed relevant with your core offering, but you continue to innovate. And just recently you launched, I mean, I feel like at least a year, there's a big product add-on to SamCart.
Yeah.
And the most recent one was embeddable checkouts. And the immature mind was like, oh yeah, that's okay. Check embeddable checkouts. Sure. It was like, hold on, slow down, everybody. Did you hear what just happened here? Everybody who's already processing millions and billions through SamCart can now extend where they collect payments without changing their payment processor. So I, not to get into the features, but I just wanted to ask you, Scott, you and your Brian, you and your brother, you sit back, and what is it that keeps you from just collecting the checks and being happy with serving the market at the capacity you have?
It'd be great to go do that. Obviously, you know what I mean? Like I'm sitting in our office right now here in Austin, right? And I don't know, man. You know, when we started out with SamCart, like I remember sitting with Brian and going, man, dude, wouldn't it be crazy if this business was worth $10 million one day, right? And like that was, I mean, dude, that was big time. That was huge. You know what I mean? And then, I mean, that was a couple of years ago. We've been very fortunate enough. You know what I mean? We've raised 3 different rounds of funding and things like that. And, you know, our most recent round of funding it valued us at $300 million. And so that, you know, our desire to win and be competitive and deliver, you know what I mean, honestly is probably the right answer, you know what I mean? And now investors that, you know what I mean, like we answer to people now. I've essentially got, you know, I basically got bosses at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, we always wanted to win. We always wanted to win big, you know what I mean? And we always know, how do you win? You know what I mean? You win by serving a ton of people, right? And helping them achieve what they want to do. And so for me, I always love, one of my favorite things about what we do is waking up every single day and checking, what did our creators do yesterday? You know what I mean? And in general, right now, I mean, our creators are doing $3 to $5 million in sales every single day. And that's freaking crazy to think about, is that in the last since we hopped on this call a couple minutes ago, you know what I mean? We probably had a couple $100,000 worth of sales go through SamCart. And like, that's fun. You know what I mean? And innovating, delivering more tools, giving them tools to take their checkout and put it wherever they want, because the internet's different now, giving them tools like buy now, pay later, stored credit cards, or, you know, whatever. There's a lot of different things we can unpack there. But giving experts and creators the shot to deliver and create their own business, where they're going to say, they're going to look at their boss one day, they're going to say, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like they're going to have that day that we all had, that you and I both have enjoyed, and, you know, whatever. Like that's the fire, I think, that really keeps us moving what they're doing.
Yeah. And don't worry, everyone. I can already sense that many of you are like, this is my first time, or I've heard about it, I've seen about it. Well, I want to see how it works. Listen, okay. This won't be the last, but this is the first time Scott's here. And what I'll do is I'll coordinate with Scott, and we'll probably do like a deep dive into SamCart where he can show you these things, share screen, and all of that. But what I really want you all to take away before we jump into the data of this report is that you're processing your payments is, I'm not even going to say probably, it's the most critical piece of your business. If you cannot put money in the bank consistently and reliably, and I think, Scott, far too often people are looking at the price of software, and that's the decision that they're making in terms of payment processors. And I've been on the decision-making end of that, where maybe the processor increases their fees or something breaks, or, you know, you all are a team that are actively developing all of the time. Again, you've got so much history behind you processing payments that if I were to recommend someone to a company, this is an easy one, right? I mean, not just because I know the founders, but I'm just saying you have stood the test of time. And me as a consultant, sometimes there's really large businesses trying to do simple, what we would call simple things online. And you look into your repository of software to recommend, and the bigger the company, the more is on the line, and they're really leaning on your recommendations. You need platforms like yourself that have been around for so long and have the track record and receipts to prove it. So this has been a big push, everybody, for me, especially in this new season of the podcast, where we're intentional with helping you all strategically select software and intelligently implement it so that we can be one of the billions.
Right? Listen, that's all we're after, right? Is just make one of those billions. And no, dude, listen, we appreciate the heck out of that. I mean, we take a lot of pride in being a reliable tool first and foremost. Like, innovative is great. I would love people to slap us with innovative as a tag, but reliable is enough. You know what I mean? And especially when you guys are dealing with, like I talk all the time with clients, like people who agencies, and I'm a consultant. That's what I do. You know what I mean? Is if I can. If reliable is probably the only thing you can't take away, you know what I mean, from a tool that goes into your tech stack for somebody who I'm helping out a client who's making $1 million a month. I'm helping out clients who, and forget that, 100 a month, like whatever that is. Being reliable, super, super important to us. Being innovative is definitely number 2. We take a lot of pride in being both, you know what I mean, and helping move the needle. And I think it's a great segue into some of this data is talk about, okay, cool. Reliable and standing up when others are falling over, whatever, is a great thing to be. You know what I mean? But the really fun thing is also then thinking about, man, what if we can also move the needle, right? How good does that make you look as a consultant? You know what I mean? When you're going to bring this in and we're going to deliver the results in addition to just being, a company that's not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
It's good to have both.
You know what I just remembered when you said reliable, Scott? I also, my memory is all being jogged now. SamCart was the first payment processing software that integrated with multiple CRMs. I remember this.
Yes. Yep.
I remember 100%. This. Because it was
you remember the days, like we're calling back to days where like you would make a sale and then something outside of what made the sale had to like say, hey, Infusionsoft, add this tag. Hey, like, and then like heaven forbid someone buys through PayPal, because then it's just like this black hole and like no one knows where those customers are going and no one can, is this them? And there's a track, you're trying to match this stuff up. And yeah, man, you're not wrong. I mean, and it's funny too, is you think about why is that? Why were we the first ones to do that? Like, why did it take me? Like the first, and the truth is because like, I always think, and I'll never let this go, is that me and Brian being our customer, understanding these businesses, understanding, you know what I mean? Like I built SamCart for me. And there's that edge has served us very, very well over time. You know what I mean? And now it's a lot of fun to continue to innovate and think about stuff that, we watch competitors, we watch what other people are doing, and they're just building stuff that no one cares about. And I know that, and I'm happy to let them make that mistake. You know what I mean? But I know that creators right now are looking around and going, you know what? I'm all over the place. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I'm everywhere. I need to have an easy path for those people wherever they're at to find my products and buy. You know what I mean? And ergo, what do? We invest in a ultra lightweight, ultra flexible checkout that's also going to double your customers are spending. It's going to plug into your CRM. It's going to do all that stuff and let you take that wherever you need it. You know what I mean? And so that comes out of, you go back to like the we eat our own dog food. You know what I mean? Like that's it. And so no, listen, I'm glad to hear you say that, because that was always the kind of stuff we're really proud of. You know what I mean? And serves us well.
Yeah. And last thing, everybody, I promise you. So some of you are listening like, all right, Chris, already we get it. You love SamCart. No, please don't mistake what I'm doing. I'm making sure I highlight the things that you should be valuing, because oftentimes what I see in the space when someone is recommending software, they either have a stack that they just recommend all the time, or they don't even know what to look at because they haven't been around long enough. So with that being said, I have to mention this. I promise this is the last one. Sales conversion based designed templates. Okay.
Amen.
These are checkout pages. These are checkout pages designed with conversion in mind. Meaning, I know, listen, entrepreneur, I know you have no idea how to increase your sales conversions. You're looking at your page, you're scratching your head. So this is just one less thing that you have to worry about when you're on that journey, everyone. And this is, we are segueing into the data. It's not that this is magic. They have years and billions of dollars of data that shows what works and what doesn't. So you don't have to start from scratch to expect high conversion. That's a fair expectation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, listen, at the end of the day, I don't want anyone using SamCart thinking about that. I don't want them thinking like, all right, how do I improve this? How do I whatever?
Yes.
That's our job. Let us worry about that type of stuff. We test that stuff constantly. Taking this, removing this, moving this, swatching this out, whatever like that. And at the end of the day, here's the cool part. We'll just dive right into it. It's like, we know that less is more, right? Right now, our only job, when you guys are selling stuff online, your only real job is to get out everybody's way. Stop asking them to do more. Stop asking them to scroll past a bunch of stuff. Stop putting flashy animations and stuff that breaks on mobile. Like, your only job is to just have something short, sweet, and get the frick out of their way. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. But anyway,
yeah. So we're going to jump into data, and I'm going to start by sharing some data that I found very interesting. This was my first time as a marketer breaking from what I thought and everybody was saying to like, wow, you really have to look at the data, right? And it was, I was at Lead Pages, and we were testing the checkout page, and we have various, we were using Visual Website Optimizer at the VWO, and what was the other one that went out? Optimize. Anyways,
Optimizely?
I think it was Optimizely. It was, there were two at the time, and then one went like Super Enterprise, and VWO stayed around.
Yeah.
So we were testing button colors, all the regular stuff, right? Here's what surprised me so much is that we then tested mobile. And this was, remember, Scott, this is back then where mobile, having a mobile response.
Why would I think about mobile? No one's buying on their mobile phones. Dude, I remember like people saying that to us is like, no one's on their mobile phones. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yes, right.
Okay. Yeah,
so
sure. Okay. Yep.
This is 2016-ish. And we went all the way out of our way to create this mobile responsive sales page. End up looking at the data. Though people were viewing it on their mobile device, the desktop version outperformed the mobile design version. And it wasn't close, Scott. It wasn't like, oh, we make $5 more. It was like a drastic difference. Clay was like, turn off the mobile, just let them view the whole
get rid of it, tear it out.
And I think at the time, what happened was people just wanted to see a comparison. Like, they wanted to see the table across. That's my assumption. So with that being said, I'm laying the ground here for, listen, everybody, I've gone through what the market was saying and what everybody else is saying and say, oh, here, this is the trend. This is how things are working. Well, I'm going to read. We're going to talk about 3 data points. Now, this is the entire report. Remember, you'll have access to it. We'll get you the link and all of that. But let me read this first piece of data from this report created by Scott and his team at SamCart. First one, it takes 200 to 300 clicks each month to power a 6-figure business. 200 to 300 clicks.
Before we hopped on today, we talked about that, and then like you and I said, if I hadn't said that number, and I asked you a week ago, I said, Chris, like, how many clicks does it take to drive? You think $8,300 a month is 6 figures a year, right?
Yep.
How many clicks is there? What would you have said?
I would have landed around 50 to 100, I think, because just understanding email, website stuff,
right?
I think that would have been on my high end, Scott. That would have been my high end.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. I think I would have gone higher, honestly. I think to me that number sounds low sometimes. Like thinking 200 to 300 clicks to your offers, like that's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like for 6 figures, I mean, 6 figures full time. You know what I mean? That's everyone's goal. You know what I mean? And what we know also from the data is if you can make 6 figures, you can make 7. I mean, the skill set is right there. You know what I mean? It's just execution at that point.
And leveraged efforts.
Man, 200 to 300 clicks for a 6-figure business. I mean, like, I hope that comes off as eminently possible, you know what I mean, for everybody out there, that is the kind of thing where you do not need, I mean, dude, we have some of those creator CEOs I was talking about, right? People are going to make 7 figures this year within 12 months, right? We got some of these people that have like less than 10,000 people like in an email list, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just not, it's a different world, man. It's different than the big email list, the big Facebook group, the big whatever, you know what I mean, of yesteryear. Is just not the rule anymore. It's not how it goes.
Yeah. And you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. If you take your monthly breakdown, it's right around 10 clicks a day. And if that doesn't feel doable, everyone, like maybe you do need to be paying more attention here and talking about automation because that is very much doable. Just 10 clicks. Yeah. We're talking about valuable clicks, but 10 clicks a day. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that ain't much. I mean, that's 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. You know what I mean? That's a couple hundred email subscribers. I mean, it's just not what it used to be. You know what I mean?
It's not what it used to be.
I love that. I always love, one of my favorite things is finding niche businesses that aren't huge, but are freaking crushing it. You know what I mean? And they are all over the place. If studying this data and looking at SamCart's database has taught me one thing, it's that whatever you're doing on the internet, you can sustain $1 million brand, right? Yeah. My favorite example, bird watching. There's this dude, uses SamCart. He lives in Oregon. He invites people out. His biggest thing he sells is he invites people out to Oregon, fly yourself into Portland, right? And come hang out with me in the woods. It's like the beginning of like a bad murder mystery or something like that. You know what I mean? Come hang out with me in the woods. We're going to watch birds together. Right. And this dude crushes it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Unreal.
I love it. I love those select niches and
it's
just,
so good.
Oh my goodness.
So
yeah, I could talk about it all day. Now, just that was just warm up, everyone, by the way. That was the layup line. Okay. Uncontested shot here. Listen to this next one. And as I read it, I want you to be thinking about this in the context of what you're hearing about social platforms, which platforms everybody's telling you, you better be on there. You've got to be on this platform. Listen to this. Facebook traffic converts 3 times higher than Instagram. That's one. 4 times higher than YouTube and 10 times higher than TikTok. I'm going to say that one more time.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Right.
10 times.
10 times. We're talking about Facebook traffic. Remember Facebook, everybody? The platform that they were like, oh, that's for old people. And, it's outdated. I'm so tired of Facebook. You're not on Instagram right now? 3 times higher than Instagram, Facebook. And Facebook owns Instagram, by the way. 4 times higher than YouTube. 10 times higher than TikTok. Okay.
Chris, I don't know if you can show this. I've got the graph up on my share. If you want to bring it up, we want to show everybody. Yes. But this is the graph. So again, this is from our creator profit report. This is it, right? And basically all this is showing you what is the conversion rate by traffic source, right? Of course, you can see the biggest ones. The biggest ones there are email and your website, right?
Yeah.
And you got Facebook organic way there on the left. You got Facebook ads is actually number 4, which is wild too. Facebook ads, the highest converting of any of the ad platforms that we track, right? That are inside of our data. Yeah. And then, look, you got just in like peanuts, you've got Instagram organic, YouTube, Linktree, which is, kind of social, kind of not. TikTok and LinkedIn, I promise you, are on that chart. You just can't see them. They're that small. And that's the wild part, is it's this trade-off. And like, here to me, Chris, when I saw this chart for the first time, right, which I laughed for a hot second. I thought, you've got to be kidding me that old school, grandpa Facebook is still crushing it in terms of just quality of traffic. But then I stopped and I thought, okay, well, hold up. Let's think about this a little harder. What is this graph really showing us? I think that graph is showing us, once again, this kind of eminent, it's always been true. We all know it. Warm traffic is better than cold.
Yes,
right? And where is your warm traffic? It's coming from your website. It's coming from your email list, right? And where else is it coming from? Facebook is like a pretty warm traffic source. Someone's a fan, then maybe they're in your group, these kind of things. At the end of the day, it's a pretty warm traffic source. But Man, that TikTok one was wild because, man, we have had so many people hunting us down to say, hey, SamCart's got to get on TikTok. You got to get on TikTok, got to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about how much time and effort and videos and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, anyway. And then we brought this up and I showed this to a guy on our team who's been like, we got to get on TikTok, got to do this stuff. And I was like,
yeah,
buddy, you know what I mean? Like, listen, you want to get me 1,000 to 1 more clicks than I get from anywhere else? Fine, we'll do it. But that's what it takes. What it's going to take is you gotta, I think it's that nature of TikTok. You know what I mean? It's you can have one video pop and you can get crazy views and you can have a big success. You know what I mean? Yeah. But man, you need that big pop or else the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? I mean, that's anyway. So, but that whole warm traffic, cold traffic thing, you know what I mean? Every single person, every single consultant, every single creator, whoever's watching, whoever's listening, you should be investing. Double down, invest harder in your warm traffic sources. Get more people off of social, off of TikTok, off whatever, onto your email list. Get them in marketing automations. Get them in that world because, man, warm traffic is it. And if you don't have it, you're going to be running on an insane treadmill, you know what I mean, trying to get enough views from these places that aren't going to convert.
Yeah. Scott, I'm really glad you said that because one of the biggest mistakes I see real good businesses that just don't really understand marketing and sales is they'll say, I need to run ads. And I didn't catch this for a while because it's all in order and priority for me. It's like exhaust my hot traffic, my hot leads, then my warm leads, then cold. So in my world, you never start cold. Because the easy money is hot and warm. Now, there are some people that want to jumpstart. They've got the cash to just go into a cold audience. But I'm talking about most of the regular businesses, course creators, things of that nature.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how they leap over all of the people that they know, their warm network, whether it be a Facebook group that they can start adding value to, whether it be an email list that they're like, oh, I only have 1,500 people. As if that's not enough to start emailing.
200 to 300 clicks a month, man. That's it. 200 to 300 clicks a month. Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, 100%.
So
100%.
Everybody, it's one thing to have shiny object syndrome. I understand that. But then there's another thing to just totally bypass good marketing practices. Start with your warm traffic. Start with your warm traffic. Now, this next point is near and dear to my heart because in the last few years of my professional career in consulting, I've been helping physical product e-commerce brands, right? And I am an evangelist to help them understand, stop being so lead gen focused and be more customer conversion focused because it's just easier. The data shows it. Scott, I have some numbers for you. I just ran a report yesterday for an e-commerce company that I'm working with. We emailed leads and then we emailed their customers. Okay. Yeah. Now, I will say this. The lead segment was a bit more simplified. I just grabbed everybody that had never purchased a product and had been on their list for X amount of time. The customers, I got a little more specific with my segments, had purchased this product, had purchased a product, had spent over this amount, and then had been dormant in the last X amount of time, right? So there's some intelligence here. Run emails. The leads got 3 emails. Okay. So it took 3 emails to amass what I would say. Let me just round the numbers off and say 50K. Okay. 50K, still great, right? That's great performance. Okay. Yeah. The next week, you email customers. 1 email per segment, Scott. 1. Increased the revenue by 50%. These are customers, dude. Customers. So if I increase the revenue by 50%, my mathematicians just heard I more than doubled my total revenue just by mailing my customers intelligently.
And the implications of that are so big. Think about the implications of that for this company, and running more ads. You know what I mean? I'm boosting lifetime value. So now what can I do? Well, I can probably spend more because I can afford to pay more for each customer. You know what I mean? Yep. Think about profit. Like everybody always talks about, I did this amount in sales or I did whatever. It's like, dude, you might have just doubled their profits for the month. Like, you know what I mean? Like that type stuff is so critical. And I think the number you're getting at in the report, can I say it or you got it?
You can say it. You can say it.
Okay, here we go. I think the one you're talking about is 11% of your customers are repeat customers, that one? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I get that right. So the stat goes like this, and this is again from the report. If you had 100 customers, on average, 11 of them will become repeat customers, right? 1 out of 10 will buy something again. But that segment, those 11% account for 46% of total revenue. 46%. And here's the cool thing, Chris, as you go higher, right? And this should shock no one. As you go higher, you talk about our creator CEOs, just the top 10%, right, of our folks. If you go to the top 10%, those numbers get more dramatic, right? They're better at driving repeat sales. It's more like 18%. Yeah. And those 18% account for like 60% of total revenue. Yeah. So you're talking about companies that grow and scale understand that treating my customers like gold, continuing to get my opportunities to buy, continuing to put offers in front of them and special sales and whatever, right, is maybe the biggest single opportunity for new profits sitting in front of any single person listening to this, right? And this is the part that really gets me, is partner this with another stat from down in the port, is our creator CEOs, that top 10%, on average, they will, within any kind of like 30-day period, right, they will sell 5.5 unique SKUs, different products, right? Meaning they don't have one product. They have a lineup of products. That's what I mean to say, right? Yep. You do not have, we found zero creator CEOs, $0 million brands in SamCart that are one product businesses. Not a single one. Doesn't exist, right? And so for anybody out there who's thinking, okay, cool, I've got my business, I'm trying to achieve a level of scale here, it's not coming, I'm a consultant, I'm working with somebody like that, is what is your product lineup? If you only have 1, 2, 3 offers, things to buy, right? How are you tapping into that lifetime value number? How are you getting to that number? Because you've got nothing else to go buy. You've got a ton of demand. If you have customers in the door, you have demand for them to spend more. They want to do it. The data shows that over and over and over again. That's not the only way. That one stat is, I think, the clearest way to show that product. Yeah. But man, it's like every single one of us should be thinking, how can I continue to let my best customers spend more, right? And that happens in 2 different ways. Chris, you hit perfectly on the back end version, right? Segment your audience, right person, right offer, right time, right? And you just showed that brilliantly, right? At the same time, how can we be doing that every time someone places an order? How can I sell something that's $100 and give someone an opportunity by, we call it expansion revenue. That's what we call it, Chris, right? We say someone's showing up to buy product A, right? They add product B and C to their order as they're checking out via bumps, upsells, upgrades, whatever it is. That's expansion revenue, right? We found out that our SamCart creators that use expansion revenue, which is the majority, and certainly the majority of the people in the top 10%, those people are on average increasing average order value by 129%. Meaning when you make it easy, and again, we come back to why did you build SamCart? This is why we did it. This is because the tools to do this, we know how powerful this was 8 years ago. And now we just have the data again to kind of just showcase it. But what we're basically saying is make it easy for your customers to spend more every time they buy, right? And you will likely double or more what they're spending. Yep. That's basically the stat. And it's just, that's, you do it there, you do it on the back end, right? You do it when someone buys, you do it after someone buys, you continue that relationship. And man, that's your business. And if you're not doing it, you're missing out on the majority of your business, right? I think that's the crazy one too.
Yeah. And everybody think of this in the lens of producing value, multiplying the value. Do not think of it in the lens of a shakedown, a grab and run. I can get more money real quick. Just sit down and understand the value, the perceived value of your audience, and give it to them. Literally, give it to them. There's so many ways and strategies. There, just if you're struggling right now, I just have to say you've got to get with somebody who's more strategic, that knows the right software and can really help you approach things from a different vantage point. Man, there's just no reason to not be maximizing on this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that point right there is so important because here's the truth. Having done this long enough, I genuinely just believe that the enormous majority of people on the internet, right, care about their customers. They care about their audience. They care. You know what I mean? You've got, everyone wants to point to the, we all know who they are, the dirtbags. But I'm telling you right now, The 98% are worried about not looking like the 2%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in general, you guys out there right now, your customers likely really enjoy your brand. You know what I mean? And they're just waiting for an opportunity. There is unmet demand out there for your customers to come and spend more money with you, right? And it's all about just giving them easy chances to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
And just like Chris said, I mean, there's execution matters. You could show up and you could say, hey guys, you spent more with me, you got to buy more, and here's a big deadline, and you got whatever like that. Or you can come up and make it, hey guys, just checking in, see if you want anything. And by the way, here's a special customer offer if you're interested, right?
Yes.
And I'm telling you, B is going to outperform A, and you look cool anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, it is all about relational capital. You know what I mean? Like invest in your customers, cozy up to them, check in with them, do those kind of things, right? And then you build up equity that you cash back in at the right time when you launch a new service, when you have a new spot open up for a new client, you have a new course you created, you whatever, right? Those kind of things, your customers should be comprising the majority of your revenue, right? And man, I think it's maybe the biggest single place I see people just punt. And it's thankfully now we got the data to back up the stuff I've just been screaming at people for a few years, I guess. At this point.
Yeah. So I can't stress enough. You need to be measuring your performance. One thing before I let you go, Scott, I just want you to mention SamCart is more than just payment processor that integrates with your CRM and your other tools to make things easy and now embeddable in a variety of ways to expand and extend your ability to capture. All of that is great. All of that is good. I'm gonna blow the whistle on the industry here. Most payment processors, and even ones that I've used and talked about, hey, this is a great one, their data on the back end is lacking or inaccurate. I just want you to talk for a minute, because that's another differentiator with SamCart. The type of analytics that you provide is just crazy.
I mean, again, it's another one of those things that comes from we are our customer. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I've run this business and I've run this business for a long time. And honestly, a lot of ways that we run SamCart as a business, we're still in the same world. You know what I mean? Like we still need, anyway. So, things like, I mentioned that term expansion revenue, right? Expansion revenue is a massive opportunity, right? How can I let my customers spend more while they're buying? How can I spend more every time they buy, right? That idea. Look, on our dashboard, it's funny, man. You log into different tools that you use on the internet, you know what I mean? And their dashboard, start thinking about this. You guys will never look at another tool you use ever again in your tech stack. What is on someone's dashboard? Is that whatever's on their dashboard is what they care about. It's what they want you to care about, right? And when you log into someone's dashboard, what do you see? You see like their most recent blog post down the sidebar, right? Do you see like a nice, cool branded video on the front? It's like, what are they showing you? Our dashboard shows you your stats, your profit for the day. It shows you your expansion revenue, meaning like if that number says 0, like it's in red and it's like you've got an opportunity here, like go make some more money. It shows you your lifetime value. It shows your MRR. It shows your total number of subscribers, like active, recurring income type stuff, whatever, stuff like that. That's what we do. You know what I mean? What we do is we're trying to give you guys, the creators, as many tools to understand how am I doing, and better yet, where are the opportunities? Because that's the truth. I can just toss like the flip side of that equation is like, Chris, you ever use like Tableau or Domo or like the the big business intelligence tools, right? Yeah. To me, that's data. Everything's a sliding scale, right? It's like my father-in-law says this all the time. Everything in moderation, son. That's like always says. And it's like I always want to be like I always want data and things like that to be like an 8. Like I want it to be good. I want it to be useful. But taking it to a 10, you get Tableau or Domo or something like that, where they're just, here's all these numbers and they're just chucking it at you. And you're just hoping that you know what to do with it, right?
Yes.
I always like to think, okay, listen, let's back that down a little bit. I'm not going to show you every single piece of data, but I do want to show you the actionable stuff, right? Cool. Yeah. I want you to look forward in the future and see, hey, 3 months from now, those yearly plans that I sold last year are coming back up to rebill. So I know where my cash is coming in, right? Or I can look and I can say, okay, cool. Those payment plans I've been running, those are all running out. So I should start planning my next promotion because cash is going to be short. Like that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So that type data is so critical. Oh my gosh. You guys, whether you're running stuff for a client and you want to be, the baller that delivers stuff for that client and you become the easiest check they write every month, you know what I mean? Or you're running your own thing. finding the opportunities and having data that understands how your business runs, I think is so critical.
Yeah.
And I hope, I mean, that's, that's my genuine hope, is that's what we've baked into, what's on our dashboard. Because at the end of the day, SamCart's not cheap. You know what I mean? Our most popular plan is $159 a month, right? So it's not inexpensive. It's not crazy expensive, but it's not inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
I hear all the time, the most common feedback I hear from our folks, right, especially anybody who's processing money and has a business, something like that, is you guys are the easiest thing I bill every month. You know what I mean? Because I know someone logs into their account, we're asking for $159, and they know, because they go and look, that we're saving them $3,000 a month in declined payments that we're saving. Yeah. It's like we've created an extra $80,000 this month off some promotion they did, right? Because we have the expansion revenue stuff and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, listen, data is a tool. It's about how you use it. You know what I mean? My hope is that all of you guys can use the report, which we're going to give away you guys for free. Chris will drop the link, that type of stuff. I hope you guys can use that kind of data to identify opportunities and take action. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? I want to circle stuff. I want to highlight stuff for you guys. I want to point you in the right direction, because the truth is, your business or your client's business is like, everyone's unique. And I just want to help you guys as best I freaking can. You know what I mean? Say, there's a massive opportunity, and capitalize on it.
Yeah. And I want to share a horror story for with you. At the time of recording, we're close enough to Halloween for this horror story, and it's going to drive home what Scott is saying. So I logged into my recent, I logged into the payment processor that I was using at the time. And I was looking at the dashboard ticker, and this is what it told me, Scott. I'm not lying to you. I looked at it, and it said, based on your recurring revenue, subscriptions, programs, and all of that, next month, your projected revenue is like $10,000. So I looked, I said, oh, wow, $10,000 in recurring revenue. That's a nice little, and I actually made a decision based on that. I said, okay, now that we got that 10 coming in, let's do this.
Right.
Well, the next month comes, Scott, it was nowhere near. To this day, I have no idea where they got that number from. I went back and punched the numbers. I was like, maybe I missed something. What? It literally made no sense. It wasn't true. That was the last. I still have some payment pages set up in there. I don't even look at the dashboard. Now I have to go external. I'm doing some fancy stuff in Airtable and in analytics tools. So listen, everybody, and I'm glad you mentioned price. Sometimes you just have to pay to play. And if we're talking about a salesperson on your team, one of the most reliable salespeople on your team that won't steal from you, that won't break down, that won't show up drugged up, hungover, you know what I'm saying? Pay that person.
Maybe 1 month, maybe one day a month, SamCart's going to show up a little hungover. That's it. One day, it's fine.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Pay that person their $159 a month and stop penny pinching, because I'm telling you, and the reason I do it all, because I'm trying to explore with as many software platforms as possible so I can give you the insight to help you and save you from the woes that I experience. And of course, when it works, I highlight that as well. So I just wanted to say that, because it is very important that the data from the platform you're processing your payments from is accurate. Okay. The decisions need to be based on reality.
That's nuts. And you know what's nuts though is that story is so not unique. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it is. I don't. When it comes to, this is really the difference. One of the things, again, and what I hope this applies to whatever you guys are doing, you listening, watching this stuff later, is our vision for what SamCart was to drill down on one thing, right? And to be best in class at this one thing we do, right? So a lot of people ask us, hey, why don't you become an all-in-one and build an email platform or build this or build that? And the truth is, right, is that, and all of you guys know, because anybody who's not a newbie should not be touching all-in-one tools, because what do you get? You get one good tool and you get a bunch of B-, C+ stuff, right? And that's what you just had. You just had, that's a C+ mistake, you know what I mean? Or worse, at someone who is doing the most critical task in your entire business, your freaking payments. Nothing else. That's the only part of your business you can't take out. You said it earlier, right? Yeah. But it's talking about payments and money and how much you're making and making more. That's the only piece of your business you cannot possibly remove without still calling yourself a business, right?
Yeah.
And man, it's just having the right tools makes such a difference. The one thing I was going to say before, right? SamCart, not inexpensive, but also at the same time, it's the only thing on the planet that is very black and white in your business. That like, listen, if we're not making you that money, we literally will tell you if it's not making that. Like our dashboard is set up that like you're going to know very quickly that we're not worth it. And thankfully we are. But yeah, it's like if it doesn't work for you, man, that's great. Have fun. Go find something else. You know what I mean? But listen, it's the funnest part for me is looking at all this data, looking at how impactful these things that we've built are and stuff like that. And just, getting a chance to share the truth about it. You know what I mean? Anyway. So yeah. I hope you guys take action on all this stuff. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. The Creator Prof Report is somewhere. Again, Chris is going to post a link. It's literally just out. It's on our site. You guys will take care of it. Like it's all there. But man, there's a lot more to dive into there. A lot of really good stuff in there. I hope you guys dive in, take action, because man, action is everything. And all this data is really, really good. But my genuine hope, right, is get some emails from you guys or something like that, right? And it's, hey, I took action on this one thing and you guys brought an extra item. That's the hope, man. So get after it.
Yeah. And in closing, I want to give you the floor to just tell people where to go. If you haven't figured it out by now, I mean, I've got a pretty savvy group of folks. I mean, clearly you could just type in the name of the software.com. But Scott, I always want to check all my boxes and make sure there's nothing else. But where can they go to find out more about SamCart, the Creator University, things of that nature that you've mentioned in the podcast?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, head over to samcart.com. It's just SAMCART.com. You guys can check out the tool. You guys check out the dashboard, all that kind of stuff. The report is awesome. Go read the report. It is literally for free. It is ungated. It's just on our site. We don't need email. We don't need nothing. You'll find it. Go to samcart.com. There's a resources drop down, and it's the 2023 Creator Profit Report. That's what we called it. And again, it's just, we shared it on screen before. It's got a bunch of graphs, visuals. We sum stuff up nicely for you guys. Go check that out. And of course, yeah, listen, you guys want to come check out SamCart, go get a free trial. Email me, Scott at SamCart. I mean, you got questions, I'm happy to help out. But no, I sincerely hope that data serves you guys as well as us. I loved diving in. I loved creating it for people like Chris and people like you guys, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Scott. This was, just so you all know, it's been hard for me not to keep going. Because as you see, Scott he's a marketer first. Remember, I read earlier, he made his dent helping market online with his agency. Heck so yeah. When you talk to other marketers, man, that have seen it, you've been through the trenches.
I feel seen, you know what I mean? I feel like, man, it's, you know what I mean? It's there, vibing hard. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. So remember the goal of these podcasts is to help you expose you all to software that you may be aware of and you just didn't have the time to look through and really understand what it does. Some of you expose you to new software, but help you strategically select it. So hopefully something was said here that clicked. A light bulb came on. You realize, oh my gosh, this is the pain point that now SamCart can solve. If that is the case, again, reach out to Scott after you sign up. You can always let us know too at holler@automationbridge.com, HOLLER@automationbridge.com. For those of you who are listening on the treadmill or jogging, it was like, what's the graph? Explain the graph. What does it look like? Listen, it's all on our YouTube channel as well. So make sure you head over to YouTube. Type in youtube.com/@automationbridge now that they have tags, and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss out. Scott, greatly appreciated, my friend. This has been absolutely amazing.
Love it. Awesome, Chris. Thanks so much for having me on, man. Great to talk. Hopefully get some great feedback on this one. You guys hit me up, any questions, but dude, great talking, brother. It was great catching up.
Absolutely. Everyone else, continue to automate responsibly, my friends.